Hi everyone! Today I am putting together some leftover Stamp Camp cards, and so today we're going to put together this accordion fold card. And I had forgotten about this card. I had not seen an accordion fold card in a while, and I know I haven't done it at Stamp Camp in a long time. And then a team member of mine, Karen, posted a video with the accordion fold card on her YouTube channel, which is called Karen's Cards and More, if you'd like to check it out. She used the pansies dies and the pansy paper, really pretty. Anyway, she did that one, so then I just was reminded of that card in this fun fold, and I like to do fun folds at Stamp Camp. So this is what we did. So I just kind of took her idea and changed it with the stamp that I used. So here's how it works. You have a belly band that kind of holds the card closed, and that's such a pretty little thing all by itself. And then you've got this fun card that you can open like an accordion, and you've got an area here where you can write your greeting. You can embellish all the panels differently. This paper is so pretty that it doesn't really need a lot of embellishments, but if you wanted to, you could cut out an extra present and pop it up and do different things. But this is how we did it at Stamp Camp, and so I want to show you how to do this. All right. So let's get started. Oh, this is Whimsical Trees. Now, Whimsical Trees is in the mini catalog, the July-December mini catalog. It's really fun. It's got just several different trees, and I love this little holly thing right there. That one is a favorite, and I like the sentiments. The Let Your Heart Be Light is really pretty. And so anyway, we're just going to use the holly and the trees. We're going to use a lot of these, actually, almost more than half of the stamps in this set, because we've got a lot to decorate on our panels. But let me also show you the dies for that collection. It's called Christmas Tree Dies, and they're kind of fun. I wanted to show them to you because you've got these really tall skinny trees, which are really cute. You've got some tall long trees, and the trees don't necessarily cut out the stamps. You can cut out them, but then there's extra trees that don't really have anything to do with the stamps. It's just a big, long, tall tree and some garland that you can add to it. It's kind of a zigzag, which is what we did here. It's this tree. And then you've got this one, which also doesn't really have anything to do with the stamps. It's just a really fun little tree. So I really liked the dies for this. I cut some out because I was playing with this whole collection trying to decide what I wanted to do. So here's like the tall skinny little trees. Here's another one, and then here's that garland, really cute. And where's, oh, here, this is this one. So you've got lots of fun little trees that you can use on your cards and scrapbook pages and all kinds of little things, and it's just a really fun little set. This little weird squiggle here cuts out that holly. And then I wanted to show you, you've got the ornaments can be cut out. This one here is actually 5 stars all on one die. So that's really fun because you might want to add some ornaments to your tree. And here that's got 10 little ornaments. You cut them all out at one time, and you can add little ornaments to your trees. So it's a really fun little die and stamp set. And what also is fun about it is the paper that they've made to go with it. Now you can use it with any holiday papers, but they have designed a paper collection called Whimsy and Wonder. I don't have a lot of it left, actually, and it's non-traditional holiday colors. So some people like that, some people do not. A lot of people like the red and greens, but this one is really kind of fun. You've got this really cute paper. I don't have a lot of this one left, but it's got trees and silver foil. It's not quite silver, it's kind of iridescent silver, so it's got multiple colors that pick up with it. And that's a really fun one. This stripe in the silver, and on the back is just a nice green. So you've got some greens on the back. Here's that gift wrap page, and on the back of that one some holly and berries. This one is really fun. It's got snowflakes, and on the back is this stripe. I love this stripe. I don't know what it is about it that makes me so happy, but I really like it. I like the color combination, and I like that it looks like maybe a chalk or a crayon. I mean, just, or painted. Really cute stripe. All right, I think I'm out of, I think I have just the tiniest bit of this one. because we're going to use it on the back of our card, but it's a whole page of that holly berry, and I loved it. It was just hard to cut these papers sometimes because they're just so pretty. And then I have this one, which is a whole page of really darling ornaments, and I love this one. Has a little deer on it, really sweet. So it's just really pretty, sweet little ornaments, and I can imagine you can cut those out and use them separately, but this page by itself is actually gorgeous. And then on the back of that one, I really like this one too. That's the hard thing about this paper. I can see myself using this blue. It's misty moonlight, and it's got trees and stars, really great for a background. And yet you don't want to cut it because it's so pretty. So that's why you need to, I'm glad they give us 2 of each sheet because I can use one side and then the other. All right. So as you can see, I've used a lot of that paper on here, and you've got that shimmer throughout. So when you open it, you've got some shimmer here and on the packages, and then I wanted some on this page as well, so I've got it on the tree. And then I embossed the holly and the ornaments in silver and then colored them in. So let's see how to do that. And I have another holly there. And this ribbon is also in that mini Kellogg, and if you can take a look at it, it also has those, it's glitter, and the glitter is also got that kind of iridescent, picks up different tones in it, just like the paper. So it just really works perfectly. Okay, let's put it together. So what you need, here's the packet from Stamp Camp. Okay, you got it all. What you need is a piece of, this is, oh, let me double check. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Here we go. I've got my notes. So this is 11, so it's a full length of the cardstock, then cut at 5.5. And then with the little scrap that's left over, you're going to cut a strip 1 by 11, and then you're going to have a little bit left over. You can get a couple of the belly bands out of each sheet, but only one of these out of a sheet. Okay, and then on your bigger piece here, you're going to do a few scores. So I've got it written down. It's 1 3/16, and then 4 6 3/4. So you're going to score 3 times. And then on your belly band, you're going to score at 3 1/4 and 7 5/8. Okay. So I cut some designer series paper to kind of fit these areas. So this is 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and put these, isn't that just a shame to put glue on that? So pretty. Whoops. Okay, and then these panels are cut also 5 1/4, but now they're, I believe they're 2.5. Yes, 2.5. So I wanted one where you could write a greeting. So that's what this one's for. So we're going to go ahead and glue these down because we're not stamping on them. That's for writing your greeting. We're going to add some ornaments, but they're a die, so we can be safe in gluing down. I like to glue down whatever I can glue down, just because then I don't lose it on my desk. All right, so this is the same thing, 5 1/4 by 2.5. All right, so I'm placing these down. Okay, and this one is also 5 1/4, and I have 2 of them. One for the front and one for the inside. And I forget what that measurement is. Let me check for a second here. This one is, yeah, 7/8. So it's not quite an inch. It's 7/8. So you're going to glue all your little pieces in and then fold it like an accordion. So I went, you know, in, and then that one goes in, and then on this outside I also wanted some paper, so that's what this one's for. Okay, and we can set that aside now that we've got kind of all of our pieces. Now I also cut these labels, and these, I have 3 different sizes for this project. These are from a different die set, and sometimes I don't like to mix and match a lot of die sets at Stamp Camp because I don't want people to feel that they need to have so much. But this is called Seasonal Labels Dies, and it's really a nice die set. So I think it's great to add to your collection. So I'm going to show it to you. You've got holly berry, and some, you can have little berries if you'd like, but look at all the labels you get. You've got 4 different size, quite large labels that would be good for sentiments. Actually, this one would be good for sentiments too, both of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for sentiments. And then these are nice. These are little notches, like for ribbon slides. You can cut that. I haven't used them yet, so they're still really glued on tight. But it's a little cut notch. You can imagine you can cut a notch here, and then slide a ribbon through. This could be a good Santa belt buckle. Same thing. You can use those long slots on any of the dies. And then here's more of a decorative little slit for which you can use for multiple things, but I think of it as a ribbon slide, something you can slide a ribbon through. And then, you know, you've got these leaves and branches, and so it's a nice die set. There's a stamp set that goes with it that's super great, but I really am getting a ton of use out of these labels. I've used them like crazy. And for this card, we're using 3 sizes, and I like that you've got that variety. Okay, so on this one, this is going to go on the inside, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping on that. So let's get that out of the way. On that one, we're going to stamp in, let's grab, you know, I also want to point out that when a Stampin' Up! Has a paper pack, they always tell you what colors are used. It tells you in the catalog, but if you forget, it's always on the label here. So I'm going to look for these colors in my stamp pads and use those, pull those out for stamping. So I'm going to use Mint Macaron and Mossy Meadow, and also Polished Pink. Okay, so let me grab my stamps. So I'm going to do the tall tree, and I'm going to put it long ways, this label. I'm going to do the tall tree in the Mint Macaron, and I don't know how to pronounce that, so if I'm making a mess of that word, macaron, I don't know. And I take French, so I should know, but I don't. Okay. And then I'm going to do the smaller one in front, overlapping it a little bit in the Mossy Meadow. And then the sentiment is going to be in the Polished Pink. Kind of nestled, it's in the middle, and this kind of nestles around it. And on this side we're going to have the paper tree, so we'll have something there. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead, like I said, I like to stick things down. Everybody's got their own way, right? Some people like to do all the stamping first and then assemble. I kind of assemble as I go because I like to really get it down and set it aside so I don't mess it up, get ink on it, that kind of thing. All right, so I already cut out these trees because I had them in the little envelope for Stamp Camp, so we'll go ahead and put these down. And this is in that patterned paper, and that way it's got some texture, it's got some fun patterns to it, that it wasn't just a solid color. I stamped one out in the solid color too, and I was going to use it, and then I thought, you know, this is kind of more fun. Whimsical, as the name of this suite is called. All right. So that is going to go right here next to this label. And these fun little squiggles, I actually, when I cut them out, I put some adhesive sticker on the back and then ran it through the die cut machine. Couldn't think of that. And these adhesive sheets are really awesome. It's just a sticker sheet, and you stick it on the back of your cardstock, and it turns your cardstock into a sticker. So I will show you what happens when you peel the backing off. And you know, when you die cut it, it's like perfect, so there's nowhere to lift. So sometimes using this little picker tool can help you. So then you're just peeling like this, and you've got adhesive already on it, which is great for these. And I always forget to use these. I mean, all the time. I realize it after the fact. I'm like, why didn't I use that sticker sheet? You have to go. This one's kind of tricky because it's back and forth and back and forth. warp it out of shape. That's okay. We'll get it back into shape. There we go. All right, and as we're sticking it down, we're gonna get it back into shape. I'm gonna start at the top just so I know it ends in the right place up there. All right, and you're gonna stick it down. All right, that's our inside except for our embossed piece, so we're going to do that next. So we've got all of that. Let's finish out our stamping with this label here. Actually, I'm going to save that. I'm going to do the embossing. So on a piece of scrap white, let me grab my scrap white. It was right here. There it is. I've got a bunch of scrap white. I'm going to see if I can finish off this one. I am going to go ahead and stamp that holly twice and the ornament once. Okay, so I'm going to stamp in Versamark, which is a sticky pad, which I lost. Here it is. It matches my stand, so I couldn't see it. Okay, so we're going to use this to get that sticky down. See if it'll fit there. It does. And then I'm going to do 2 of these holly clumps. 1, 2. And then I'm going to use silver embossing powder. So when I do my videos and I heat up the embossing powder, I usually turn the volume off because it's so loud. And someone asked me about that. That's what it is. It's not that I have a silent heat tool. Alright, so I've got 2 hollies and 1 ornament. And then at Stamp Camp, we colored them in with markers. But I want to show you another way to color them in the video, just because everybody knows how to color with markers. But I thought a lot of times, you know, we have so many things here at Stampin' Up. We've got pads, markers, Stampin' Blends, watercolor pencils, you know, just so many different ways. And one way to get a coloring medium inexpensively is the pads are kind of the main thing. We need ink pads, right? We love to use them to ink up our stamps. So we all have a lot of ink pads usually. So, but maybe we don't all have the markers or the blends. So another way to get some coloring is you can buy a pack of Stampin', these are called blender pens, and they come in a pack of 3, and they're just clear, as you can see, and they have kind of like a, I'm not 100% sure what's in here, but I think it's like a glycerin type solution, and it stays kind of liquidy. And the fun thing is you can pick up color from your stamp, your ink pad, and use it to color inside of an image. So I'm going to do that here just to kind of see, because a lot of people don't know about blender pens. We had, you know, it used to be Stampin' Up didn't have quite so many different coloring things, and blender pens were used all the time. And now I feel like, you know, I forget about them because I grab my Stampin' Blends or my, you know, my markers or my watercolor pencils, and I very rarely remember to grab the blender pens. They're so fun. So here I'm adding to the holly. I'm just going over them with some mint macaron. Like that. And you can add a little more. trying to go heavier on the veins to kind of highlight the veins of the holly. I'm just going to kind of add a little bit like that. And then I'm going to throw some mint on one of these ornaments too while I'm at it. So you don't have as much control with the blender pen as you do our markers, because sometimes the ink just goes on heavy, sometimes light, but it gives a nice effect, I think. I think it's fun. All right, I think that's enough of the mint. And then what you can do here is just kind of clean it off on your scrap pad. Just go like this. And I don't need another pen for another color. I'm going to still use this same pen. So I'm going to grab the polished pink, for example, to do the berries. And I'm just going to go ahead and use this same. Now you do have two sides. And some people, they come in a pack of 3, so some people like to have one that ends up using most of for their yellows, and one they kind of stick with most of their reds and blues, because it does kind of stain the tip. Like this tip, especially reds, don't really come off. It's not going to come off on your project, but it's going to stain that tip. So I colored them all in polished pink, and then I'm just going to go back in and add a little highlight again with a little deeper color. So you can kind of get darks and lights with the blender pens. And let's see, let's do some ornaments also. So I'm going to go in and add some of the pink to the ornament. So then I'm just kind of getting that pink off the tip. And even though it's kind of still stained a little bit pink, it's not going to transfer. So I'm going to now grab, actually I want Blushing Bride. And I'm going to do an ornament. That one. Okay, and let's see, what else do I want to use? Maybe I'll do Blushing Bride. No, I think that's it. No, I'll do it here. Okay. And then another color in the paper is Misty Moonlight, so let's grab that. You can see I use my ink pads for a lot of watercolor and painting techniques, and so that's why they're always kind of a mess. That's what's going on there. The ink pad does not do that. I do that myself. Normally they're nice and crisp and pretty when you get them. Okay, so I've done my ornaments. And then I'm going to clean this off. I feel like you should do it right away, even though maybe you're done with it for the day. Clean it while right after you used it. Stick the lid on and you're ready to use it another time. So that way you've got a pen in every color ink pad that you have. Super fun, right? Okay, so let's cut these out. Put my lid on here. All right. Got the big guy today. I left my little machine, the little mini machine, at the space that I use for my classes, and I kind of miss having it because it's so tiny. It just fits right here and I don't have to worry about it. Alright, now this one's tricky. Like, where does it line up? And I'll tell you the trick on this one. Look for these berries, the 2 little bumps here, and then you'll have it lined up. The first time I saw it, I thought, I don't know what shape goes where. Alright, that's how it goes. Alright, so I've got my ornaments in one. I need one more of that one, so I'm going to look for the little bumps for the berries. Alright, so I've got 2 of my little hollies and my ornaments. The ornaments are going to go right in here just to have something to kind of decorate the top, and then you've got plenty of space to write your greeting. just going to throw that there for a second. And then here you can kind of play around with where you want this. Might put it in the top corner. And then for the belly band, let's decorate that. I think that's good. Alright, like I said, we have this large strip here, and then we have the two little ones. So I'm going to stamp my greeting on the white label, and I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. And this is such a pretty font on this one. I'm going to use May the love of the season warm your home and fill your heart. Okay. Alright, now my tip for belly bands is never glue them without wrapping them around. This is still a little wet, so I'm going to do this quickly and then remove it while it finishes drying. I like to wrap it first and adhere it, put it together while it's around here. And that way, if you accidentally didn't give it, you don't want to make it too tight, because what if you do that and then you're not going to be able to use your belly band? So let's go ahead and stick this together. And now I can, once I've got that glued together, I can take it off and I can let this finish drying. Alright, so I made two of these labels, and I'm kind of doing this. I like to have the seam in the front and then cover the seam. And that way the back is just perfectly smooth. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cover the seam with this mint label. And then I put the ribbon in between just for fun. So I've got my sparkly glittered organdy ribbon. And I'm going to go all the way around. Now, you could tie this in one piece where you could wrap it and tie a nice bow, but that for me is more difficult. I would rather wrap it like so and then glue dot my bow on it. It's kind of a cheat, but I think it makes for a nice tighter look. And I can't find my scissors. Alright, I'll use another one. Okay, so I've got that. And now I'm going to go ahead and stick this one up on dimensionals. And tie a bow. Okay, what do I do with my card? Alright, so let's fit that back on there, just so we see where everything's lining up. And then I'm going to just use a little glue dot, or two maybe, to kind of get it really good and tight. A couple of glue dots. Normally our glue dots come on a roll, but I get Paper Pumpkin. That's the card kit subscription from Stampin' Up. And you always get all these little glue dots in the kit. And so I'm trying to use some up because they sit on my desk because I always grab the roll and I forget that these little sheets of glue dots exist. Alright, so I used a couple of them just to make sure it stays. And if you even want to tuck it under that little bump, you could. Oh, and then I want to get this guy on there so you can decide where he goes. I think he's going to need a dimensional just to give him more stability. So it's going to be half under this and half sticking out. There. There it is. There is my accordion card. Thank you, Karen, for showing me that card and reminding me of it. It's such a cute little fun fold and I forget to do it. So it just slides up and then you open it. Super fun, right? Thanks so much for watching. I hope you'll come back again and subscribe. Take a look at the Whimsy and Wonder collection. There's a whole bunch of the stamps, the paper, there's some different ribbons that go with it, and there's some really pretty iridescent snowflakes in that collection too, in the Whimsy and Wonder suite of products. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!